Why you're always tired. It's like so many of us are going to bed tired and we're waking up tired, and there's like this epidemic, this pandemic, whatever you want to call it, of just tiredness like all the time. And what's worse is there is just so many young people. This is not just something that's 60-year-olds and 50-year-olds. It's so many young people are always feeling this. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some real things on why you're always tired. It's going to be pretty shocking. And then some very pretty basic things you can do to really overcome some of this tiredness so we can get things done. All right, let's go.
Noelle. Yeah, she can fix that. You gotta get it done, no, you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
When it comes to tiredness, you know, there's not really some big scientific thing that I'm going to give you. I'm not some scientist. I'm more of an MBA. I'm more of a wealthy person that does real estate. But I can tell you, in this mentorship and in this coaching, I'm meeting so many younger people and coming in contact with so many younger people that are just always tired, and people telling me that they want to do these things, but they really just feel burnt out and exhausted by the time it's time for them to work on their business or for them to, do their side hustle and do their thing. They're so tired from work and all their other responsibilities that it's causing a problem. Additionally, we have stress and anxiety like at all-time record highs in our society. And so let's talk about what are some of these things, because it truly is those things that are causing us to be tired. And there's really three basic areas to stop all of this, and you're going to hear them all right now. So let's just get into this. So number one, diet. The first thing that is making so many of us tired, people think, well, I was going to talk about sleep. Yeah, we're going to talk about sleep in just a second. But the number one thing that is making so many people in our society today tired is diet. And I don't mean diet like, oh, let's lose weight. Oh, let's be fit and, keto and all of this other stuff. No, I mean actually overeating. Most of why many of us are tired, statistically speaking, it's the food that we are eating. That is the fuel. Our bodies are like this machine. It is actually a very well-designed machine. Like if we get sick, our body knows exactly how to heal itself. And in many, many ways, even some of these diseases that people are talking about, like cancers and some of these other things, in many cases, and again, I'm not a scientist, I can tell you it's our own physiology and our own body and our own minds that can fix a lot of this. But what we feed it is what you get out. If you have a car that requires 97 or 93 octane gas and you put in the 87, it's not going to run right. Well, if you feed your body and you overeat, especially over processed foods, a lot of carbs, a lot of pastas and even the over processed stuff. Let's talk about potato chips, Doritos, sodas, all of those very unhealthy foods on top of overeating those foods is an actual killer. It is actually killing many of us. It's killing our health. It's killing our mental health, our physical health, our healths. That's why I said that with an S. I know people are like, did Noelle just say healths? Yeah, different statuses of our health, our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health. All of these things are being harmed by the food that we eat. So let's keep going, because there's some real things that you can do to solve this. One of them is misusing caffeine. Many of us are misusing caffeine. We will drink coffee and use that coffee to give us a little bit of energy. But let's talk about caffeine. Caffeine has this really long shelf life in our bodies for how long it lasts and stays in our bodies and keeps us awake. So if you drink coffee at 4 p.m., for example, coffee takes 5 to 7 hours to dissolve just 50%. So if you, for example, have a cup of coffee at 4 p.m., at 10 p.m., 7 hours later, you still have half of that coffee still in you. And at 4 a.m., you still have about 25%. So the truth of the matter is we should not be having caffeine and coffee and things like that after 12 noon. We should not. Intermediate fasting. You hear about this all the time, like that skipping breakfast and not eating after 7 or 8 p.m. and then not eating again the next day until 10, 11 a.m. That is correct. Now, I know we've fancied it up with this great name, intermittent fasting. Noelle's messing that up. Intermittent fasting. Well, think about this for a second. that is naturally how most people, if you look at a lot of thinner people, like Indian culture, for example, people in India, that's already their just diet naturally. That's not intermittent fasting for them. They usually don't eat dinner past 7 p.m. and they don't eat again until the next day after 10 a.m. So there you go. Those are some of the more healthier ways that you should be eating. Stop with the caffeine, and stop overeating. Have some smaller portions. When we talk about overeating, let's go back to that, because that is a real thing that is making so many of us tired. Even myself, I didn't realize that I was eating more than I needed to. And so we fill up our plates with all of this, and that becomes lethargic because our body has to digest that. So your body is actually working to digest all of that food. And the more processed it is, like pastas and carbs and things like that, like I'm saying, those things take even longer to process in your body, and it's tiring you out. So how could you possibly be at your best mentally if your body is working to digest all those large amounts of food and the wrong types of food, over processed foods, carbs, cupcakes, potato chips, different high sugary food, just things that you know we don't need. So Noelle is not a nutrition expert or anything like that, but I'm just going to tell you, most likely if you really want to work on sleeping better and not being tired all the time, you have to look at what you are feeding yourself, your diet. How much food are you eating? What types of food are you eating? How often are you eating? Like what times of days? Like I said, you shouldn't be eating after 7, 8 p.m. There's just no need to do that. Okay. No snacking and going downstairs and eating those big, large dinners before you go to bed. All of those are terrible for the next thing, which I'm going to talk about, which is sleep. And so if you're not getting enough sleep and that's why you're tired, well, yeah, it goes back to some of the food, the diet, and those choices that you're making. So let's talk about that. Let's recap. Less food, smaller portions, better foods, more fruits, more vegetables as snacks. Cut out a lot of those potato chips and Doritos and you know that stuff. Like I am a soda queen. I love drinking Sprite. It's not good. And Sprite doesn't have caffeine in it. That was one of the reasons I chose Sprite soda over other sodas. But the truth of the matter is I should be drinking more water. All right, let's get into the next thing. Number 2, exercise. Moving that body. Yes, moving around. You cannot be you cannot, you have this energy if you don't use it. So it's funny, like how energy works. Most people think, oh, if I exercise, if I work out, if I move around all the time, that's going to make me tired. No, it is actually the opposite. If you exercise, if you take a walk, for example, you go to the gym for 30 minutes, an hour, if you get up and move, if you stand up at your desk and things like that, you'll actually have more energy than if you just rest, because quite frankly, our body would be in inertia. So if you just lay around all the time, well, guess what? You're going to be tired, and that's what your body's going to be used to, and it leads to more tiredness. The more you are active, the more you are energetic and doing things and on the move, the more energy you have. So you have to build into your routine movement. You have to expend energy in order to actually get more energy back. If you try to save that energy sitting around, sitting is actually just a killer for us. And we already know this. I'm not going to give you all of the different studies and stats. We know that sitting in these sedentary lifestyles where we just lay around and sit around all day is bad for our heart, is bad for our health, is bad for our weight, is bad for our emotions, is it bad for us mentally? There really isn't much good in just kind of laying around, eating and watching TV and things like that. Now, of course, you need idle time. You need time to yourself. You should absolutely do that. You should be at rest at many times, but that's what comes into sleeping. If you are always tired, and if you're especially a young person, I consider myself a young person, even though I'm in my 40s. If you are a young person, you should not be tired. You should not always be tired. You should not feel drained and exhausted. Quite frankly, your body is telling you something, and most likely it's about what you are eating and that you need to have some type of exercise routine. It's not about your weight. It's not even about aesthetics or cosmetics or how you look. It's about your health. Exercise and what you do physically with your body helps your mental health. It helps your inner work. That's actually a part of your inner work, is stretching, doing yoga, going for walks, being out in nature, moving around. You have to exercise. If you do not want to be tired all the time, or if you find that you are tired all the time, it is most likely because you do not exercise on a regular basis. Number 3, sleep. Of course, if you are feeling feeling tired all the time, or feeling always tired, or always tired, feeling exhausted, if you are, if I'm like talking to you, you are not getting enough sleep, and most likely you are not getting enough good sleep. So in many cases, we already know we need 7 hours. As an adult, you need a minimum of 7 hours of sleep each night. Most people say 8 is a great spot. And that is, and I truly do make sure I get 8 hours of quality sleep each night. But what is quality sleep? What do we mean by quality sleep? What does this have to do with being wealthy? What does this have to do with being rich, Noelle? You have to sleep. This was actually one of the habits that made me a multimillionaire. The fact that I started getting better sleep. So when I woke up in the morning, I had a routine. I didn't wake up tired. I could actually do the things that I needed to do. So when it comes to sleep, you have to create the opportunity to sleep. So when it's time to go to bed, you actually don't just go to bed and lay down and fall asleep. That's probably one of the reasons you're not getting that high quality of sleep. Maybe you're looking at your phone before you go to bed. Things that I know you know. You're checking your emails. You're checking social media. You're maybe even watching TV. These are absolute no-nos. Absolute no-nos. One of my mentors, when I first got into mentorship, okay, this was back in 2009. I was bankrupt. I was broke. I had bad credit. I had no money. I lived in my parents' basement. I get a mentor to teach me real estate, and he's going to teach me how to be wealthy. He's going to teach me how to do wholesaling. One of the first things he started talking to me about before we got into the real estate and all of the wholesaling and, hey, what you do is, what are some of your routines, Noelle? What do you do when you first wake up in the morning? And he basically gave me that morning routine where I would wake up, I would do my meditation, I would journal, I would say my affirmations, I would get up before everyone. I would get up between 4 and 6 a.m. And that is actually what I'm talking about, the opportunity. So when you go to sleep, you have to create that opportunity for sleep. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm creating an opportunity for success with my morning routine. When I'm going to bed, I have a bedtime routine that's creating the opportunity for good quality sleep. And that routine is no television, no screens, all of those things. I turn them off an hour, 30 minutes before I go to bed. Make sure I read before I go to bed. It actually kind of will make you a little bit tired, and it shifts your brain a different way. I will make sure I do my journaling. I will make sure I say my prayers, my gratitude, my affirmations of all of the great things that happened today, some of the challenge that I experienced, and what I'm going to do differently. I just kind of meditate and do that mentally. I make sure my room is dark. One of the amazing things about being wealthy, and when I got to design my room, I wanted those really high curtains that were darkening, almost like they have at what? A hotel. So I wanted hotel style curtains, drapes, whatever you want to call them, in my home. And I paid this company, shout out to the Shade Store. They're this really nice drapery company. They're pretty expensive, but they came in, and I have the most head to floor to ceiling drapes in my room that are darkening. So even if the sun comes up at 6 a.m., if I need to still keep sleeping, or 5 a.m., I can still keep sleeping. The room is completely dark. I need the room. You need the room to be completely dark. No sleeping with televisions on. Some of those things are really bad habits. People say, well, I can't sleep without the TV. Well, switch it to something else. Maybe it's audio. Maybe it's rain sounds with subliminal messages playing. Maybe it's that white noise machine that's playing some subliminal messages. Those are actually better ways to get into better sleep. Another important thing is that damn phone. You have to get that phone off, not just off before you go to bed and then lay it next to the bed and you wake up in the middle of the night. Oh my God, I had a thought, and you check your phone. No. Your phone should actually probably be across the room. Like, of course, most of us charge our phones at night when we're sleeping. So what I do, instead of putting it on the nightstand next to my bed, I literally put it on the dresser across the room by the television, so that I do not wake up in the middle of the night and create this habit of checking my phone. That is interrupting so many people's sleep. And one of the reasons they don't have quality sleep, they're waking up in the middle of the night, checking messages, looking what other people are doing on social media, even things that they think are great, like checking what their stock portfolio is looking like, or what stocks are doing, or what's in their bank account. None of those things need to be checked in the middle of the night when you just wake up in the morning to use the bathroom. And people are waking up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom and checking their phone and wondering why they're always tired. Come on. It's easy to see. You know that if you want to stop always being tired, you're going to have to make a change. You're going to have to actually change your routine and get back to the basics. And of course, diet, exercise, sleep are going to be the basics. So those 3 areas are really going to change your life. All right. One last thing before I get out of here. Number 4, decompressing. So I'm going to put this all in together. And this is like a Noelle-ism, okay? From all of the mentors that I've had, all of the success, all the different great people I get to talk to, billionaires even, there is this added thing as to why, like, people that are achieving and doing great things and living a great life is because, one, everything is not all about achieving. If you're always thinking of achievement and accomplishment and how to be successful, that's tiring, okay? That's not going to be the best use because you're always striving and you're always not enough. I don't have what I need. So you really need to spend more time decompressing, doing things like what? Meditation. If you do not know how to meditate, you need to learn how to meditate. If you are always tired, you probably need to be doing some meditation. You need to be having some great relationships, whether it be a spouse, a partner, a friend, someone that you can talk to and have those conversations with, a partner that loves you, that you love, different things like that. Those relationships, it does matter. But one of the ways you'll be able to attract those things to you and kind of create that balance in your life is through meditation. You have to be able to quiet your mind. You have to be able to sit quietly with no music, no sounds, and just sit quietly with your own thoughts without a thought popping in your head and you jumping off and running. You have to learn to meditate. That is how you will actually gain control of your mind so that you cannot feel so tired. You will feel rested when you meditate, because when you're meditating and you actually learn to do it very well, you're controlling your mind. You're stopping your mind from having all of those thoughts, but without falling asleep. So it's a very restful thing. It's restful for your mind. It's restful for your body. It is very emotionally good for you. Okay. So meditations, affirmations, telling yourself positive things and speaking to yourself in a nice way. The world may speak to you in a very harsh way, but Noelle Randall is going to tell you, if you want to be happy in your life, start speaking to yourself in a nice way. You're awesome. You're beautiful. You're perfect the way you are. Perfect weight, perfect height, perfect money. Everything is good as is. And then it can get better, but you have to love yourself and stop being so hard on yourself. Stop being so judgmental of yourself. And then last but not least is journaling. This is going to help you get through those thoughts. It's going to help you vent to in a more positive way. And it's going to actually help you if you start doing it in the morning and in the evening. It will actually help you fall asleep better. And you can make this a part of your routine so you can stop being so tired. One of the reasons you are so tired is because you're constantly thinking about things. You're stressing, you have anxiety about what might happen, and this is causing you to be even more tired. So if you can center yourself through the meditations, the affirmations, and the journaling, you will actually be improving yourself. If you would like a free journal and you just covered the shipping, go to NoelleInspires.com. That's Noelle, Noelle, Inspires, INSPIRES.com, NoelleInspires.com. You can get my manifest journal, the key to unlocking your number one goal in 100 days, and get you on that routine where you have a positive morning routine, because there's a morning journaling system and then there's an evening journaling system. And it's very simple. It doesn't take very long, but it will help center you in the morning, help you get on track. Hey, what am I doing today? What are all the awesome things I'm grateful for? And there's even some reminders that you will check off. Did you do your visualization? Have you said your gratitude? Did you do some stretching or some yoga to kind of move your body a little bit before you get started? What are some of the things that you're going to do that day? And that's going to get you going and you have a positive day. Then in the evening, you're going to go through, you're going to wrap up what is something that awesome that happened today. You're going to pick out some positive things. You're going to pick out some challenges, decide what you're going to do better the next day, and go to bed with a calm plan. You've calmed your mind. You've got away from other people, what other people are thinking, what they're doing, keeping up with the Joneses and all those thoughts that keep you tired. You're going to get rid of those and you're going to focus on yourself with your journal. You will go to NoelleInspires.com and you can get this journal absolutely free. You just cover the shipping. All right. That's Noelle, Noelle, Inspires, INSPIRES.com, NoelleInspires.com. Get this journal so you can stop being tired and get your life together the way that you want it, because you do deserve it. I just want to make sure that you have all of the knowledge, all of the tools, and all of the resources that you need to be successful. This is Noelle. To your success.